Right, what do we want? Team 1, red, orange, yellow, and purple.
In the north?
Yeah, just waiting for Duck to connect before I can rotate the screen.
Same here.
Okay. So yeah, I got red, pink, yellow, and no, I'm not. Sorry, I got orange, red, purple, and yellow. I'm gonna start over with orange. Okay.
Okay.
No worries.
Solomon!
Greetings YouTube, welcome to 0AD Newbie Rush. I'm Jim Cogan. It's live recording 4v4 time again, and once again I am joined by Weird Jokes. Weird Jokes, welcome back.
Hello, everyone.
No worries. We did all right last time. I think we had quite a short game. We've got a full lineup this time. And what a lineup we have got. It's a good one, isn't it? It's not bad at all.
It's very exciting.
I got to hand it to you. You roped in all the celebs for this one. We're going to quickly rip through the teams. I'll come back to you. Go careful with the sound of your mouse clicking because that's getting picked up a bit, but we'll be all right. I think typing will be worse. But the mouse, yeah, click quietly. There we go. Right, keep an eye just in case anybody does anything crazy while I'm introducing these guys. But we will start with Team 1 in the north of this mainland medium temperate map. It is Vinme, rating 1968, playing as the Romans. We know Vinme, quite a mercurial player, a very good player, obviously very skilled with a rating like that. We'll see how Vinme does in the team situation. Is on the flank and facing off. Well, we'll come to who he's facing off in just a second. Let's move along. In the red, we have Christigar, or Chris as everybody seems to call it. Nobody seems to know how to pronounce it. Rating of 2055. One of the many big hitters in this game. Pretty much everyone. There's one or two people maybe aren't big hitters in this game, but we'll see how they do. So Christigar in the red, 2055, playing as the Ghouls. Seen them before, a very dangerous player. Moving along, Ghouls again. It is Duck who picked random. It was Duck who picked. Was it? It wasn't Duck who picked random, was it?
Français picked random.
Okay.
Duck picked Ghouls.
Duck picked Ghouls. No rating. Seen them play a long time ago, and I think they got their ass handed to them on a plate. So I don't know if they've got any better since. Playing in the pink or fuchsia, and rounding out Team 1, playing as. Who's he got there? Is that Athenians? I'm trying to say
Athenians, yeah.
Yeah, Dakiris has got Athenians. Dakiris rating 1868. Another very good player. Team 1 looking pretty solid. I'm just going to nip down to Team 2 in the south. In the green, playing as Iberians. This was the random draw. It's Francis. Rating 1542. Never seen them play before. Lucky draw, that Iberians on the flank, I think, possibly.
Yes.
We'll see how they do. Moving down in the blue, playing as the Ptolemies, Cedric O, another player I've not seen before, I don't think. Rating 1454. And if you're thinking that Team 2 are a little bit underpowered, they are rounded out by Noob Dude, rating 1333, playing as the Ptolemies. But general thinking is that Noob Dude's rating is in reality much higher. Is that right, Weird Jokes?
That's absolutely right, yeah.
Where do you estimate his actual rating to be?
Well, around 1700.
1700s.
More or less, maybe more.
Fair dues, but that is then completely offset by the fact we have Valorant in the light blue. Valorant playing as the Kushites in the light blue, rating of 2340. Widely regarded as one of, if not the best player in the game. I'm sure Borg would have something to say about it. We're already getting a little bit of lag on this one at my end, but we'll see how it goes. But for the first time ever on Newbie Rush, we are covering Valorant. Let's hope this game isn't a stinker. Valorant has already made a shed load of cav and is heading towards his opposite number on the flanks, Dakiris. How do you think this is going to go down, Weird? I have absolutely no idea.
Well, we can see some battle of cavalry units soon because Dakiras also has some cavalry. Maybe Valorant can make some good damage. Let's see. They see each other. Interesting. And Akira's already has to retreat some women into his CC. So there's already some idle time on the berries.
Absolutely, absolutely. No kills yet. Everybody's been very civilized and well behaved. Looks like I don't think Valorant is done here.
No.
How many spectators do we have? Because I'm not getting serious lag, but I think if they all end up with massive armies, we could end up with a lag fest, which would be a shame. But I think we're going to stick with it anyway.
We have 3 additional spectators, but I don't think that they will make so much lag. Oh, we have now the cavalry battle.
We do indeed. We have First Blood. It's one kill apiece there between Dakiras and Valorant. I'm sort of having a look around because I'm seeing on the far side there's a little bit of raiding. Or I don't know if that's scouting or raiding. Francis has gone in on Vinmi, but it looks like they've not found anything in there. They're being joined by more, and at the same time, Vinmi sending some of his own cav out. So we're going to have interesting stuff on the flanks here.
Lots of action. Yes.
Yeah, I think we'll have to keep an eye on each flank and let me know if anything crazy kicks off over here. I'm going to have a quick look at the left-hand side.
Okay.
So, at the moment, Francis has he's got an increasing number of cav, there's 7 of them. They seem to be trying to do more sort of damage to buildings and captures. At the moment, Vinmi doesn't seem too bothered. His CC is peppering the horses from distance. He's got his first kill. He sent some infantry out. And
Valorant makes a good attack versus Duck.
Oh, he's gone for Duck as well. Yeah, we're going to be pulled all over this map in this game. It's going to be mental. Yeah. Thanks for that. Yeah. So Valorant has definitely... Do you think he's identified Duck as a weak link, do you think? I don't really know how good a player Duck is nowadays.
Well, he has started with so many women and no additional infantry. It will be hard for him to defend, I guess.
Absolutely. The attack on the other side is still going on. Francis hasn't actually killed anybody. He's only lost 1, but he is sort of ripping up buildings. But I don't really know if it's helping him that much. He's keeping up with population. But Vinmi's still ahead of population. There's a bit of a dust-up going on now. I think it's 3 kills apiece between Francis and Vinmi. I think Vinmi is going to come out of this better, possibly. Just looking at the populations, Kristigar has moved ahead, population is 67. Duck is bringing up the rear, still being hassled by Valorant. Is anybody going to come to his aid, or is it way too early for that, do you think?
Well, maybe Dakiras could send his cavalry there. He's not far. Maybe he's just doing that now. Or can Chris do anything? Well, he has no cavalry, I think. So it will be hard for him. No, Chris shouldn't send soldiers there, no. But the cav of Dakiras could help, yeah.
Duck has ended up at the bottom of the population pile, but he does seem to have seen off the cavalry. There's not that much between him and, he's 41. Kristigar's up at 74. Team 2, it's the players in the middle, as you would expect, who seem to be economically doing the best. So Cedric and Noob Dude heading up populations. The flanks, they seem to be, as you quite often expect, they are the quieter sort of areas. Obviously, Duck has been slightly hamstrung by this. Still can't seem to get his population going again after that attack, stuck at 46. Dakiras is actually pop capped, but he is now dealing with more Valorant trouble. How do you do that? I've always wondered how Valorant's not running away with population while he's doing it, but it's just that continuous waves of attack that grinds you down, isn't it? It's horrible to defend against.
Yes, absolutely, and he's very good at multitasking. And he has phased up and has built a camp for mercenaries. They are javelin cavalry mercenaries, so they are a little bit stronger than usual.
We missed that
cavalry.
altogether. We didn't see him phase up at all. He's in phase 2.
He's in phase 2. I just saw that. Yes.
Yeah, that must have been that was probably within 6 minutes. And this is now mercenaries that are coming up to hassle. Is that right? Or
Yes, that's right. They are not as strong as the Carthaginian mercenaries, but also very strong. They have more precision and more health points, so they are dangerous, I'd say. And he brings his priest in front so he can heal his soldiers at the front line. Kushites start with a free priest.
They
so
do, don't they? Yeah.
It's helpful for early aggression.
Absolutely, it seems to be working. Valorant, 19 kills for only the loss of 7 in phase 2 already, and this does seem to be having a bit of a detrimental effect on Dakiris. He's still population of 65, but so much of his attention is going to be focused on defending at this point. And I guess this is why Valorant is the player that he is, to be honest. How would you go about trying to defend this? Would you just...
Oh, that's a good question. With slingers, maybe, because they have more range than the cavalry. Towers can also help. But Athenians can defend well with slingers, so he needs more slingers.
How do you find Athenians in Alpha 25? I've not really experimented with them. They would never be my first choice, I don't think, because I think historically they were quite weak, and I think I'd probably carry in prejudice in, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure if Athenians are up to this, to be honest.
They have some advantages, but also some disadvantages. For example, they are the only civilization which cannot train any champions from barracks and stables. So, well, that's a little bit sad in the late game.
That is a bit, yeah. Oh, Valorant's priest is just clinging to life at the moment. He's on 11 hit points, but I think that's probably the reason this attack has been able to prolong so long. He's healing as he goes. It's a very clever tactic. I knew Ptolemy's had the priest to start with. I've never Kushites. Yeah, I've never actually seen them put it into practice. That's quite interesting to see. We're sort of ignoring the rest of the game at the moment. Thankfully, there isn't too much happening. Just to round up, Kristagar absolutely smashing it in terms of population at the moment, 133. He is followed by Noob Dude in Team 2 with 122, and Cedric O, quiet but hopefully deadly later on. Noob Dude is about to phase up to phase 2, and Valorant has gone in again for Duck, unfortunately. He's got his population back up. Dakiris has dropped. It looks like Valorant's tactic is to keep those two players somewhat down in population and hinder their development, isn't it?
Yes, that's his strategy, and that's why he prefers to play at the border, while many other players prefer to play not at the border, including me. And, well, now his mercenaries go again on the woodline of Dakiras, and there are almost no slingers. And there isn't really a reaction from Dakiras. He sends his own cavalry. But they are weaker, as I said.
At the same time, Valorant sent some cav in to try and... He's half captured a house down the bottom, but there are sentry towers down there. Now, after our last game, a lot of people kind of derided sentry towers as a defense against... certainly against the mercenary cav we saw previously. But Dakiris has definitely gone for it. He has 1, 2, 3 of them on that side of the base. Certainly making Valorant think twice about it, but I think Valorant now piling his forces together. That is quite a lot of cav. 14 cav he's got there, although in various states of health. It's interesting. He's not being allowed to do exactly what he wants, but it definitely seems to be working for him. Overall in the game, Kristagar is still leading and in the process of phasing up. Those in phase 2 at the moment, Kristagar, Valorant and Noob Dude. And we're seeing a bit of wood being sent around to Noob Dude. So I'm wondering if Noob Dude is going to go for some kind of an expansion. I'm looking at the other flank. So this is Francis versus Vinmi. Vinmi still slightly ahead, despite he actually came off better off on those early incursions. In the meantime, Valorant's still patrolling that flank. That's interesting. I'm assuming the Nova village can be built outside of your own territory. Is that correct? Can that be built?
Yeah. In the neutral territory.
That can be built in neutral territory. So it's acting as a kind of staging post for his attacks, and he is
yes.
He is producing mace men now. This is quite. What are those?
Yeah, they are strong against buildings.
Oh, they're the ones that can club buildings down, isn't it? Yeah, okay.
Yes, very fast. So you will not find any other soldier in phase 2 who can hurt buildings that quickly. So.
Oh, there goes the tower.
That's dangerous.
So a bit of an off battle going on in the middle here. At the moment, Valorant 48 kills for the loss of only 13. 52, 53, 54, it's going up now. I think Valorant is definitely establishing his dominance over Dakiris at the moment. I don't think we're going to see... Oh, we've also got another one of those Nova villages going down there. It hasn't been built yet. I don't think Dakiris is going to be able to deny that, really, with what he's got there. His population, it's at 72, so it's still respectable. I saw Akazid defend with a population that barely got above 50 for the first 10 minutes, but he wasn't up against the likes of Valorant. I don't think, unless he spams out a lot of troops massively now, I think he's going to really struggle to defend from whatever Valorant is planning to do next.
Yes, he's in massive trouble, so he could lose his civic center to the Macemen.
Absolutely. On the very far side, we are seeing an interesting approach here. Francis seems to be building palisade walls secretly around the outside. He seems to abandon that now and is looking at sending, what is it? They're infantry javeliniers, looks like 10 of them, coming in from the far side. I don't think he's got too many soft targets there. I'd have to question the logic of this. I'm sure he's been rumbled, he's been spotted, and lots of infantry coming now. I think he's going to have to abandon that as well. So I'm not sure what he was trying to pull there. Possibly just a bit of harassment, but he's going to run into a much bigger force, and I think there are plenty of ranged infantry in there. I think he's going to get taken down pretty quickly. It's more distraction.
Yes.
Don't think the position he is, he's 20 population lower than Vinmi. I think he really ought to be focusing on his own development at that point, his own defences, because I'm pretty sure Vinmi's going to spring something nasty on him fairly soon. Who else is... Oh, we have... people have reached phase 3. Noob Dude has reached phase 3. Kristigar is going there already. Vinmi on his way to phase 2. Dakira still the only person in phase 1 still being hassled by Valorant. How do you... how do you see it at the moment? Who is winning, do you reckon?
The team of Valorant is definitely winning because Dakiras is almost dead. And at the other hand, we don't know yet what Chris is going to do, so maybe this team can still win, but it looks very good for the team in the south.
Absolutely. If Noob Dude decides to expand and support Valorant over that side, I think that makes that flank look pretty solid. I cannot see any signs of Duck at the moment being able to raise a big enough army to support Kiris. If he's going to do it, I think he's got to do it soon. Still in phase 2, population still of 148. Sort of signs that, in fact, I think that's probably what, I think Valorant fancies it, to be honest. I think he fancies engaging Duck at this point because he's been so successful at killing his troops, I think.
Look, he sends his macemen to the CC of Dakiras now. So let's see if he can take it down. I think it looks very much like he can take down or even capture the civic center.
It is very much looking like that. It's been a fairly typical Valorant masterclass so far. But yeah, let's have a look at the CC. They're definitely doing the damage. They're nasty, those mace men. They are not very nice at all. Takiras is officially in trouble. Population down to 56, and it does not look like Duck is going to come to his aid. No sign of Kristigar, although Kristigar has reached phase 3. Can't really tell what his strategy is going to be. Over the far side. Yeah, over there goes the CC of Takiris. Over the far side, Frances has maintained this attack on Vinmi, but I think he's sending troops to the slaughter. We're getting a GG from Takiris, although he's being ordered not to surrender by Noob Dude. But I think it's clear. I think I'd be thinking about resigning at that point.
Yeah, he can also run somewhere else and try to rebuild anywhere. That might be helpful.
Absolutely. I feel a bit sorry for him. I think of all the flanks he could have picked, that was probably the worst bit. But
yes, and he also lost the territory connection to Duck, so he loses all his buildings now.
Absolutely. We're seeing Noob Dude throw in his hand forward. Here come quite a lot of infantry following on a sort of a scout there just to see how things are. I think Kristigar has now been finally sparked into action. He has got a siege workshop and he's got large amounts of infantry heading towards the middle. So I think at the moment the advantage very much lies with Team 2, but I think we are probably going to see some big ass battles between Kristigar and Noob Dude and Valorant, hopefully. We've not talked about Cedrico at all. He's literally just been slowly expanding. He's put up a military colony north. Elephant stables going down, so he's been slow and steady and left largely alone. It looks like Vinmi is having to protect that border because it was probably just getting on his nerves more than anything else. I think he's now planning his attack more towards the flank of the centre. It will be interesting to see how Vinmi and how Kristigar respond to this as Noob Dude goes in on Duck, followed and supported by Valorant. I'm not sure what Takiris is planning. He's still got a population of 34. He is pretty good at rebuilding from when I've seen him how to do it, but I don't think I've ever seen him quite so up against it. Can Team 1 do anything to turn this around, Weird Jokes?
Maybe. If Kriska and Vinme do really crazy stuff, maybe they can still win. Yeah, Chris has already the hero Vercingetorix, who makes soldiers a lot stronger, so can maybe even save Duck from the defeat. Let's see.
It's Duck who's very much in trouble at the moment, coming under the full might over this side, and his population now down to 110. But Kristigar is trying to make his presence felt as we get, sadly, a little bit more lag in the game. Looks like Noob Dude is pulling back a little bit, and Kristigar is coming in now. I don't know if there's any additional troops being sent up by Valorant or Noob Dude, or if this is their forward army for the time being. I forgot Valorant could obviously make more mercenaries at will from those two remote buildings there. Kristigar going in. He is positive in the old kill-death ratio. Nowhere near Noob Dude at the moment, who's like 4.6 at the moment. But what is Kristigar going to do? Can he swing this? He's certainly getting kills, and he's got Noob Dude and Valorant's attention at the very least.
But he has forgotten his hero somewhere back, and he is outnumbered. So, well, that looks very hard. His hero is now following the army, but it might be too late.
He's got siege coming through. He's got more infantry coming through in dribs and drabs. It's has he overcommitted to this? Let's have a look.
Well, he cannot run away from there because the cavalry can follow his soldiers. So, he surrenders. Yeah.
Kristigar's gone. Okay.
Well, I didn't expect that it would be that.
Yeah, Takiris has fallen over, and that looks like the end of it. I don't know if Vinmi's got anything to say Let's put in OP around. Okay. Typically, Noob Dude weighs in with a few comments about how Noob Team 1 were. I don't know. It would have been handy to put Noob Dude on the other side. He wanted to be on Valorant's side, didn't he? So I'm not sure. Vinmi has just reached the city phase and he is still playing. I don't know what he's going to be able to do. But I think... Are they still running?
Vinmi is still playing, but he can't win on his own.
Okay.
Sad story. So, the match was balanced in terms of economy. Both teams collected similar amounts of resources, but the team in the south was much better at military.
I think it's very much up to Vinmi as to how long he wants to go. Okay. I'm assuming that's the end of it then there. If Vinmi wants to call it, I think we'll call it at that point. Let's have a look at the... I think we'll exit that one. And we'll have a look at the summary.
Even quicker this game than the last one.
It was 16 minutes and 7 seconds. Okay, a very clear score difference there. 20,513 plays 15,611. Christagar top scored on team 1 by virtue of the fact he did some fighting at the end. Vinmi came in second there. Overall, Valorant's efforts have given him the top score there, 6,243. Yeah, it's a tricky one. Let's have a look at the old kill death ratios because Valorant and Noob Dude were absolutely lethal. I think yes. Valorant especially 5.43.
That's crazy.
That is quite crazy, especially against the caliber player. I think we both know Dakiris is no slouch at this game, but I mean, he was probably never going to get much support from Duck, and I think Valorant had weakened Duck to quite an extent early on. That was his strategy, and I think he executed it well. Yeah, I mean, I think it might have been interesting from the draw if Christagar or Vinmi had have ended up on the flank. I think once again it's a bit premature to say that Team 2 were noobs. You are where you end up. Yeah, I feel a bit sorry for Dakiris, to be honest. I think he... do you think he could have done anything different with the Civ that he picked?
Well, yeah, with Athenians you can make a lot of slingers early on because they don't cost so much wood, and that can give you a good defense against cavalry.
So do you think as soon as it was clear he was going to be up against Valorant and Valorant was definitely going for Cav, he should have spammed out slingers and en masse?
Yes, and he can also use this for offense. And if you see that a mercenary civ goes to phase 2 early, you can attack because you can make some damage before they spam the mercenaries out.
Yeah. Let's have a look. Just trying to get an indication. I'm looking at the populations here and how they fluctuated. Dakiris round about sort of 3 minutes was pretty much when Valorant started hassling him, and I don't think he really stopped thereafter. His line of development was always quite low after that. It wasn't terrible. It's not like he had been completely crippled by it. There's no huge sort of, if you look at the line for Duck, you could see quite clearly where his population dropped to the bottom of the pile as a result of that attack. We're not seeing that from Dakiris, and in fact, Valorant's population was lower overall for a lot of that early attacking. So I don't think numbers. It's not that he killed a vast number. I'm assuming. Do you think he just went to pieces, picked the wrong strategy, and it all went horribly wrong from there?
Well, it's not only about the strategy because Valorant is just, I'd say the best player in the world, and he can also win against you with a strategy.
He can do that kind of thing, yeah.
So he can equalize an disadvantage of strategies, I'd say.
No worries. Because that one was so quick, do you fancy trying to host another?
Yes.
Should we go for it? Let's see
Let's
if
hope
I
the
can.
people are still there.
Yeah. And we're back again. It's the impromptu second game after the very short first game. Slightly, a couple of changes to the layouts. You'll notice it's 3v3 instead of 4v4. But we'll rip through the teams again. Weird Jokes, you still with me?
Yes, I'm here.
Excellent stuff.
It's interesting.
Yeah, indeed. It's random as well this time. So let's go through the players and civs really quickly. Team 1 in the north again, starting with Valorant, who pretty much dominated the last game, it's fair to say. Valorant, as we've seen before, rating 2,340, has drawn the Morians. Interesting. The Morians are still pretty solid as a civ, aren't they, in Alpha 25?
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely.
They have some very good advantages.
And moving along in the orange, I hope we pronounce this right. It's Alri or Alri, or it's Italian. My Italian is not great, I believe. I'm going with Alri. I'm Bristolian. I'm allowed to murder pronunciations. Rating of 1415 in the orange, playing as the Seleucids. There we are. Interesting. I know nothing about Alri. Have you seen them play before?
Not only seen him playing, I've played a lot of matches versus him in team games.
Okay, you got the insight there. Do you rate them as a player?
He might be even underrated with his 1400. Maybe he's rather 1500 or.
Interesting.
Well,
we'll keep an eye. We'll keep an eye on Alri. We'll see. Rounding out Team 1 in the pinky fuchsia colour, it's Islan, rating of 1393. Who, from what I've seen, is a tidy player. I think. Have you played against them before?
Yes.
Yeah, I think we covered them. I don't think they submitted a game, but I definitely covered them a little while back. I can't quite remember if they were on a slightly overpowered team and maybe looked a bit better than they were, but my memory is that they were quite a tidy player, playing as the Persians, who everybody seems to quite like in Alpha 25 still. Interesting. So Team 1... Hopefully, we've balanced this a bit better, because in Team 2, we have Kristigar again, who is facing off directly against Valorant. I think that is the perfect result there, really, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, I think Kristigar is not going to... He's also Morians as well. That is awesome. So, Kristigar rated 2,055, who ordinarily would probably be the big hitter if Valorant wasn't here, but certainly is Team 2's big hitter. Very, very, very tidy player playing as the Morians in the yellow. Moving along in the light blue or cyan, we have Meta Foundations, rating of 1,698. Evidently no slouch. I don't think I've seen them play before. Do you know anything about them?
He played rarely against me, but some matches, yeah. And,
absolutely.
Well, you don't see him often here, but he has a high rating.
Dark horse, and we have a little bit of confrontation over on the side there. Valorant's already chasing away a cav unit of Kristigar, so it hasn't finished it off. Valorant has already gone in for cav, and there is cav going in. I'm going to quickly round out the final player on Team 2. In the purple is Francis, who we saw last time, rating of 1,542, who we saw next to nothing of because the game was pretty much over by the time that happened. They are going to be facing off on that flank against Islam. That could be an interesting contest, and we're going to nip back to Valorant trying to cause Kristigar some hassle with cav. Now, it is it's light cavalry, so it's Valorant's usual kind of hassle game, isn't it, to slow players down?
Yes, he likes that a lot. He often does it very often.
Absolutely. Something tells me possibly Kristigar is not going to let him have his own way here, but Valorant has already gone to the top of the population charts at this early stage. We are 3 minutes and 20 seconds in. Population of 40. Islam has gone level. I'm looking around to see if anybody else has produced Cav, and Islan has produced rather a lot of Cav. Oh no, he hasn't. That's infantry. Only Meta Foundations has produced more Cav, and that seems to be where Valorant is heading next. So possibly a repeat of his tactic last time to also weaken a second player. He has found all women up there. It's all 14. Oh, it's now 13. Okay, so you can hear the death cries. It's like radar, isn't it? How does the guy know where these opponents? He always seems to find their weaknesses straight away, doesn't he? It's like telepathy. I don't know how he does it.
This woodline was at the front, and it's not so clever to put the woman at the front of your base. You should rather put them at the back, because, as we saw, Valorant goes in and he just goes in a circle around, and if he finds the woman immediately, he can immediately attack, and he made 4 kills and caused a lot of idle time.
Absolutely. It's if it was a 4v4, quite often the two players in the middle are somewhat protected from the early cavalry. Most of it kicks off on the flanks, but this is a 3v3 and Valorant's on the other side. It's a known tactic of his.
And Francais makes an infantry rush right now. Sorry that I interrupt, but
no, where's that to?
At the east, in the base of Iceland. Interesting.
Indeed.
That could be
Indeed.
very interesting, but the rush is maybe not strong enough. He's outnumbered.
Yeah, I'm getting the usual colour clash because we've got the purple and the pink players right next to each other. I didn't notice that on the mini-map. But indeed, it looks like it was just a little sort of an excursion. Still going on. I think he's down to... What's he got? He's down to 5 units, and they're all skirmishers. So I think he's pulling back there. Did he get many kills? No, he is in deficit.
Oh, 2 kills to 7.
Only 2 kills to 7. I think the success of that one is probably questionable, but fair play for trying it. Right, let's see we actually have that rarity, a quiet moment where nobody is attacking anyone. Valorant is still got horses hovering around Kristigar's base. From the early exchange, it's been quite a conservative game so far. Meta Foundation still got the most cav at the moment. I think we might actually see something of an economy game without too much. I think this is going to be interesting. I would hazard a guess we're going to see a longer game this time, at least. That was incredibly quick last time. Any initial thoughts? How are you? Who are you picking to win this one? I mean, obviously the Valorant factor is an option, but how do you see this going down?
It looks like the team of Valorant is again in an advantage. I just look at the statistics and how much units every team has, and the team of Valorant has already a little bit more population and gathered more resources, so they might win.
Valorant still sending the one horse through Kristigar's base, while still leading the population. The multitasking is incredible. I don't quite know how it... I'm assuming you've seen some of his replays where he plays and talks at the same time. You get some kind of an insight into how fast his brain actually works, especially as English is not his first language, which I think is pretty incredible. But I don't want to, I would love to see a shock. I'd love to see somebody push Valorant massively. I'm just not sure. I'm not sure if that's going to be the case. 3 more of Valorant's cavalry come in to cause hassle. I'm looking elsewhere, see if anybody is near phasing up. It's a bit early for that yet. Islan has pop-capped himself at 59. Population seem to be closing up a little bit. Kristigar's got 75, Frances has got 60, Meta Foundation seems to be stuck and pop-capped on 56, so I'm not quite sure what his strategy is going to be, but he is sending cavalry of his own as Valorant goes in to hassle the fields again. Regulation defending from Kristigar there gets the women inside. Doesn't seem to be in too much of a panic, as the top players rarely are when just a few of these come down and attack. But it is... I mean, I wouldn't say it's slowing Christopher down too much, but it's only slowing him down really in when you compare it to how Valorant is doing, and his population's just reached the 100. Alri, who we've not really looked at all, is moving to phase 2, so our first phase 2 person happening there. He's just been cruising, so I think he's going for the full economy build and build a big army and go and smash someone up. But we're also seeing some cav of Francaise going in on the outside of Island as well. There are a few soft targets there, but there is infantry there. He moves into the field, so he's going to be taking fire. I'm still not convinced this is going to help. He's run out of targets there too. Overall, I think I agree with you. I think Team 1 look a little bit more comfortable at the moment, do you reckon?
Yes, they look better, but at the other hand, Iceland struggles a bit with defending and getting his fields up and so on. And if a spear cavalry of Francais teams up with a javelin cavalry of Meta Foundations, it will be a very good combination, because it's so much harder to defend against a combination of these two unit types than against an army which is just made of one of these.
Absolutely. It looks like, as we see, Islam has dropped to the bottom of the population charts. It is, although the kills are still in his favour, Islam has definitely slowed down, hasn't he? He seems to be struggling to get his economy working as well. So I think, and it looks like Francaise is now going to hassle Auri, who's been kind of clear of this at the moment, and he has found some soft targets at the top as well. So in a slightly smaller scale, he appears to be sort of doing what Valorant did in the last game, albeit not for very long, it has to be said. But yeah, it's interesting.
And Valorant is building now barracks towards Chris, so he wants to fill the gap of territory of barracks.
I've seen him do this so many times in his videos, where he just seems to stretch his influence across the map. It's quite impressive to see it. So yeah, he's already more or less doubled his territory. Is right on the border. Still in phase 1. Only Auri has gone to phase 2. What civ has he got? He's got Seleucids. Have they got phase 2 mercenaries? Was that part of it? They have.
They have it. Maybe that's why he has phased up already, but he is not building the military colony right now, so we will not see mercenaries from him because they can't be trained in the barracks. Okay.
I wonder if he's just trying to race through the phases as quick as possible, try and get some siege out. Looks like Meta Foundations has withdrawn his cavalry now, so they spent about 3 or 4 minutes sat idle in the middle of the map and have not done much. But we are seeing Francaise go again to hassle women on the vulnerable wood line there. I think he got one more kill. Don't know if it's slowing Ari down any. Valorant has raced to a population of 163, which is ridiculous, to be honest. We are 9 minutes and 47 seconds in. He is absolutely well clear. Christogar is the nearest, and we're now seeing incursion into Christogar's territory with a lot of infantry. He's going to start capturing houses. He's pulled them back a bit. He's got some women in there. I think they're going to build another barracks. There we go. And it's already looking, we're seeing the comments from the observers here. Noob Dude, who's always got something to say about this, is pretty much predicting the premature death of Christogar. I don't know whether Christogar's got anything to say about this.
Valley can steal his houses soon if the barrack is completed, and that will be, not very good for him.
Do you think there's a psychological element to this? I mean, everybody knows Valorant is one of the top players. Do you think people just fall apart playing against him, even if they're pretty tiny players themselves?
I think they do. when I played versus him, I was like, I can't win anyway, so, well, I don't have to play properly, so it doesn't matter how I play, so maybe I can just do anything.
Interesting. It's a psychological game, as we see, as another barracks is going down.
Wow, that's a lot of barracks.
That is a whole load of barracks to go to face. There we are.
Number 7.
Towers going up. Number 7. Valorant has actually made it to the town phase. Everybody's phasing up now. There are Valorant, Auri, and Francis in phase 2. Meta Foundation and Island are just moving up now. Just Island to move up. So everybody has almost simultaneously made it to phase 2. Auri's going to phase 3 already, and now there is a proper full-on battle going on here. Christogar's getting kills. He is 10 for the loss of 4. But it's Valorant who's a little bit in deficit now as Christogar mobilises a big force as if to say, this is as far as you're going to come here if I have anything to do with it. So we're seeing a response at least.
Christogar lacks melee units. He has mainly archers. That can be a very big problem because now Valorant can teleport his units through the barracks and attack. Let's see if he does it. He builds another barracks. Interesting.
We're seeing Spearman coming out of Christogar's CC, and we're seeing where's his barracks? Not seeing anything coming out of the barracks at the moment. Now we are. So yes, Bamboo Spearman appear to be the order of the day. I'm trying to keep an eye on the other elements of the map in case we see any other mobilizations, but everybody seems to be playing it cool at the moment. Meta Foundations is sending his cavalry out again. I don't know if this is an actual attack or another sightseeing mission like last time. We'll keep an eye on the light blue dots on the map, see if they go anywhere dangerous, but all of the action really focused here. What do you think Valorant's going to do next then? You're predicting teleport into the barracks and then emerge and just pick him off from distance.
Yeah, well, maybe he doesn't even need the barracks. His troops are moving now towards the tower. Maybe they try to fight under the tower. And even though Valorant said that he doesn't want to end the game so quickly, he plays really aggressive again, doesn't he?
I think you've got to really. I think you've got to play really aggressively if you're recognised as one of the best players in it. I think there's a reputation to live up to. I don't blame him for playing aggressively at all, to be honest. I think Christogar probably has got a bit further than a lot of other players would. I think we saw Dakiris go to pieces in the last one. Christogar is not letting that happen, but the advantage numerically that Valorant has managed to build up to 219, it's losing a few now, but he's got units to lose, hasn't he, with that kind of advantage?
Well, we see now lots of losses on both sides. I mean, maybe Valorant should not fight under the towers.
Yeah, it's Christogar's closed it up a little bit. A population of 179, so it's still within reach. As we see, Meta Foundations has. Are we sending the cavalry in to try and help now? No, it's infantry. We're seeing some slingers. Oh, okay. At last. So you got your wish. You've got Athenian slingers. It's a game late, but they're there. Let's see if they can help. Interesting. Yeah, Valorant not being quite so forward this time. What are we seeing up there? We're seeing Francis is sending Cav north again. I think this is just scouting the lay of it. Who has got the most of the players, apart from Christogar and Valorant, have got the vision upgrade and can see what's going on. It's just the two key players haven't. It's quite interesting. But Francis is going in, trying to find soft targets in Valorant's base at the moment. I don't think that's going to cause Valorant too many problems unless it starts slowing his economy down a bit. But I think he's pretty much covered. Although he's got infantry up there. There's nothing that's going to cause him any major headaches.
But Meta Foundations attacks now with his slingers. Let's see what he does.
That was brave, wasn't it? That was a bold move. He's attempted to what do they call it? It's poking the snake, I think is what they're trying to get it to react, and then hastily retreats to Christopher's base for safety there. Interesting. It's delicately poised over there. I'm waiting for the other flank to kick off at some point because we are seeing Alri has sent a large contingent of infantry forward. It's what we got there. It's a mix of. It's mostly ranged infantry, although he's supplementing it now with some melee troops. This looks like an expansion on the other side. We're still quite possibly. You're not seeing so many. We're not seeing so much base building in Alpha 25. Certainly in the games that I've covered recently, it's been send a huge crowd forward and actually carry out a full-blooded attack. I don't know if that's to do with the speed that the game runs. Alpha 25 definitely feels faster. It looks like controlling that territory doesn't seem to be quite as important anymore.
Yes, and there is more metal on the map, especially in your own territory. So the expansion is not so important anymore like in Alpha 24. But Alre has the Seleucids, and they have the cheapest buildings for colonization, for military colony. They're a little bit cheaper than the Ptolemy one, and he is building a colony now directly at the metal. That's clever.
It's good. Can he see? Hang on, let's have a look. See, I'm just going to have a look. See if Francis is actually aware. He's not. He cannot see that. So it's just out of his view. Couldn't get any closer, but it is literally just out of his view. So that is interesting. Over the other side, Christagar went in for a bit of an attack, and it looks like Meta Foundations is also building a CC right on the edge there.
It's a good CC, I'd say.
Yeah. I thought he was holding his troops to one side as sort of instant reinforcements. If Christagar overextended himself, then had to retreat, enticed Valorant out, and then I'm not 100% convinced about that one over there. We'll see, but Francis is definitely aware of the presence of Auri now as he comes streaming into his face.
Possibly.
Yeah, that must have been a bit of a shock. There seems to be all manner of panic there. Has he got him in trouble, do you think?
Yeah, well, he has to abandon his woodline now for defending, and well, there are a lot of troops from Alre, and the pikemen, they are so much more durable than other melee infantry. It looks hard. Let me check for upgrades. If I have some upgrades from the blacksmith. Do they even have blacksmiths? Alre has a lot of upgrades. And what does Francais have? Let me see. He has also some upgrades. Okay. Interesting fight.
Auria's definitely, he seems to have the upper hand at the moment in terms of the kills. He's got his kill-death ratio up over 2-1. It's now dropping a little bit. At the same time, it looks like Meta Foundations has engaged Valorant at his woodline on the side. I'm still not convinced that's anything more than a bit of a suicide folly. At the same time as well, Valorant has basically encroached further south, sent a small contingent in, and Christagar is dealing with that. We're seeing siege from Meta Foundations, although I don't know where he intends to send that siege engine. I'm not certain. On the other side, it is looking very much like Auria's got Francis on the run a bit. He's dropped to the bottom dramatically of the population stakes there. I think your Team 1 prediction could be coming true. Are we going to see support also from Island soon? If he piles in, I reckon that's the end of Francis, possibly.
Definitely. Island has the biggest infantry. It can be a threat. I think it's remarkable that Chris has most kills, even though Valorant plays quite dominantly and has a high population at the biggest economy.
It's interesting. I don't want to hint for a second that Valorant might have overextended himself a little bit, but that siege engine of Meta Foundations is now starting to knock over barracks. It's well supported by Kristigar. It's a big, dangerous cloud of infantry sent forward. They're being protected by a tower. I think this is interesting. I think Valorant is definitely not getting it his own way.
He's in trouble now.
You think Valorant's in trouble?
Yes, he has less infantry than Chris, and well, Meta Foundations has weakened him a bit.
He's also sent infantry over to the other side. They are going in to reinforce Frances a bit, and as predicted, we are now seeing Island send that big infantry in. There is a hero elephant in there as well. Or is it just it is the hero elephant. So we are seeing two distinct battles form here. I'm still not convinced Meta Foundation is reinforcing Frances strong enough. I think he's in trouble. But Kristigar is definitely making his presence known. They're now fighting in the presence and under the shadow of Valorant's tower, so they're starting to take a few more hits now.
That might be a mistake to fight under these towers. They are upgraded, and maybe he should rather go around.
I think it's the momentum of the push he's trying to capitalise here. He's gone to the top of the population stakes for the minute, 220. Valorant's a little bit down. So it's interesting. You can't take your eyes off this, can it? There's two distinct battles going two different ways at the moment. I do wonder if Kristigar is going to get so far and run out of steam, but he is attempting to take those towers down. The siege engine is gone. They could do with another one at the moment.
They should have repaired it.
Meta Foundation has got two more. I don't know if they are winging their way over or if he's sending them to try and support the other battle. It's not going that well for Frances and Meta Foundations over there. They haven't quite reached the CC, but the hero elephant is closing in. And there's a war elephant in there as well. I think that fortress is coming down. It's difficult. It's difficult to see how this is going to go. I would say the right-hand side of the map, as I'm looking at it, it looks very much Team 1. Kristigar, I think he is now consolidating on his little bit of gains there. He's certainly taken a chunk out of Valorant. But Valorant doesn't look to be in too much discomfort from it. He's still got that very strong border and still got a lot of infantry there. Do you think that's as good as it gets for Team 2? I'm not sure.
Well, Valorant defends very well. He can hold his side, and at the other hand, it looks very, very bad for Frances. So, yeah, he might lose now, and then his whole team loses, I think.
Yeah, I don't think Kristigar can really hold anything on his own against those other players. I think if they lose one, that's probably writing on the wall. They are slowly closing towards Frances. He's already building. He's building more barracks at the back, so he's losing his infrastructure, but still trying to rebuild. I think he's in terrible trouble. Over the far side, Valorant sending a lone unit in, I think just to see how much of a presence that Meta Foundations has got over in that territory. The answer to that is he hasn't really. He's got that CC and 6 infantry in it, and that's it. The two battering rams are coming up, so I think this is the next wave from Kristigar happening over there to try and push him back further. Who else has gone in for siege? We could see Auria's got siege engines. The CC has just gone down for Frances. I think that is the end of it there. Meta Foundation is having to fully support this flank now. Interesting. I see Valorant's getting a bit of criticism from New Dude in the comments there. He doesn't have like throwing criticism at people, does he? He really does.
Well, Valorant said he doesn't want to end the match so quickly again. So maybe that's why it is still going on.
Possibly. It does feel like he got to a certain point and then drew the borderline and then just invited Christagar back into this. I think it's interesting. I'm wondering if, as Francis is trying to rebuild, I think he's very much, yeah, he is trying to build a CC in the middle, but Alri knows exactly where it is. I've been quite impressed with Alri. I think he was left to his own devices a bit, but it was quite a ferocious attack when it came, wasn't it? It was quite aggressive.
He was very successful here.
I'm going to look to see if Christagar's next phase of attack will be as successful as his last one. Have they lost the battering rams already?
Again, so maybe he made a mistake with repairing them again. He couldn't repair them fast enough. Well, it's not so easy to use rams against Morians because they have so many sword units.
Yeah.
They can defend very well versus rams, so rather attack Morians with elephants.
Well, Christagar is going for a siege workshop. He's certainly placed it. I don't think he's committed to building it yet. You reckon elephants would have been the way to go? I'm sure he has got...
Yeah, probably. Morians also have a lot of archers, but their defense against rams is very, very good.
Has he not built an elephant stable at all? I don't think he has he? Has he got one in there somewhere?
No elephant stables.
Okay.
There.
He is slowly building the siege workshop. It's going up now. The archers are definitely keeping Valorant at arm's length. There are towers that are fully garrisoned and upgraded. But yeah, it's interesting. I still don't know if Valorant is literally playing within himself to... Ooh, taking the towers down now. Interesting. What's going on there? Difficult to say. They seem to be at a bit of a standoff there. Over the other side, it's looking very, very one-sided. The big army... it's all of the siege, basically, of Alri. It looks to be moving in slowly on... the infantry has actually followed Meta Foundations all the way back to the CC. This looks like very much a regulation knocking over the base here. Population of Meta Foundations is down to 105. I got a bad feeling Christagar is going to find himself left without any allies here.
That's pretty much how it looks, yes. He has now higher population than Valorant, but, well, it will not help him if all his armies fall.
He's had that for a little while. It's been fluctuating just above it. It's not by much, but Island has got the big population and the big infantry, and I think they're starting to head over to that side of the map. I think I don't fancy Meta Foundation's life expectancy at this point. I think they're going to definitely knock him down, and then it's a question of can Christagar defend from two different flanks against what is effectively three armies. I don't believe he can.
No way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is already over.
Yeah. Well. We'll just see how it winds up. I'm pretty sure... Yeah, they're going in on Meta Foundation CC now. I guess it's a question of... we didn't really see much in the way of defence, or we saw a little bit of aggression from Francis. He just did not seem... He had no answer to Alri coming down with that number of troops. I don't know what his strategy was really. I think it looks like it was I'm going for an economy build and I'm going to wait till somebody turns up and kills me. Basically, there was no outward expansion or scouting to see it come in. Yeah, there goes the CC. And I think it's just a matter of time.
Definitely.
Yeah, Meta Foundations has been every conflict. He's lost a lot of troops there. He's looking like the weak link in that chain there at the moment. And now we're probably going to see this enormous dual armor. They're building a CC over there to pin Kristagar in. There seems to be a bit of a traffic jam there amongst the Rams in the CC, but I'm sure they'll work their way over to Kristagar eventually. What do you think? Do you think it would have been up to Frances and Meta Foundation to have basically been the aggressors there and got out of their base and started attacking Alri before we got too strong?
No, I don't know. Well, Francais made an infantry rush in the beginning and he was not successful, so that is a big disadvantage.
Yeah.
And, well, Meta Foundations could not let Kristiger alone because he was in massive trouble. So not sure how to who to blame for this.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult to say. I think Meta Foundation's providing the one battering ram, and maybe that little bit of a push on Valorant. That possibly stretched it a little bit, but in combat he's come off massively worse. So maybe, yeah, it's tricky. I'm not convinced that either Frances or Meta Foundation really could have supported Kristagar that much. I think maybe they should have pulled together and tried to knock over the other flanks and reduce the numbers there. But I've been very impressed with Alri. I think he didn't face much in the way of competition, but he built the numbers up quick, and his army have now gone to support Valorant. And have we had I think Kristagar has resigned. That's it, isn't it?
Yes, pretty much.
Yeah, there we go. They've all pulled the plug on it. So congratulations to Team 1. I think you called it pretty early that time. Let's wind that up and have a look at the stats, I think.
Yes. And it seems like we can already give award man of the match in both matches to Valorant, right?
Pretty much. I mean, yeah, I think looking at the scores, Valorant has top scored in that one. I mean, we didn't get Valorant getting the clear-cut victory over Kristagar. I think he always kind of knew how to hold him at bay. And I mean, they were the same Civ. They're both good players. I don't know. I get the feeling possibly Valorant was waiting to see what happened on the other flank, and as it was, I think he had confidence in his teammates, and they did indeed knock over Frances and Meta Foundation. So did he really have to push for the victory himself? He held the line. Nobody really got near him, did they?
Maybe at the beginning he had to push for the victory because I'd rather expect that his teammates would lose to the other two. So I thought, like, yeah, Valorant must be active and aggressive.
Yeah, I think in a game where Valorant plays, and he is, I mean, he did. Let's have a look at the old kill death ratios. He didn't top the kill death ratio. Islan did, actually. So in the end, Islan's big infantry. Oh no, Auri did 2.7, and most of that I think was absolutely massacring Francis and Meta Foundations. But Valorant's presence was definitely there. Who wins in a 1v1, the Valorant and Kristagar then? Would you normally go for Valorant if all things were even?
Yes.
Yeah.
We would most likely win most of the matches.
Yeah. What is it that just lifts him. I mean, to me, any player who manages to get around the 17,000 mark is quite a tidy player. What on earth does it take to get to 20,000 and then 20,000 plus?
I don't really know. Valorant has a lot of strengths. He's really creative and knows a lot about the game and has a very good macro management. He can do very good multitasking. Well,
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I wish I knew. I think overall, then, obviously, Valorant's sheer presence probably makes him the most valuable player. I think I'm going to give special credit to Auri in that one. I think it was his move, certainly that put in the CC just out of sight. He established his dominance there, and there was no resisting that. So, if you had to exclude Valorant from this game, it'd probably Christopher. I think Auri's performance there definitely was the instigator for winning that flank, supported by Islan.
I agree, yes.
Yeah, but overall, I think we have to give congratulations to Team One. I think congratulations to Valorant in both performances. I think it just underlines just how much of a dominant player he is. Really good to actually get him roped in on this one. So credit to you for that, for inviting him. I don't know whether he would have turned up if I'd just invited him, but we finally get to see Valorant on Newbie Rush, and we see not one but two games, so that's fantastic. I think at that point we will wind it up. It's going to be a monster episode, I tell you what. But thanks again to all the players who basically volunteered to be part of those games and put on a bit of a show. I think there are good talking points in both games, even though I think we called both games pretty early. And thanks again to Weird Jokes for joining me. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. And I would say I have to thank you.
No worries. I will let you know. We will probably do another one of these at some point. We'll see. It certainly better than the first game, I think. There was a bit more variance in both of those. We got two for the price of one, and I'll let you know when we're going to do another one. We'll have to get that sorted. But until then, thank you very much for watching. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do leave a comment, drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell icon to be notified of future episodes. If you'd like one of your matches featured on the show, see the video description of how you can submit your replays. And if you can't wait for the next episode, then why not check out these playlists in the end titles for more replays, commentary, and tutorials on 0AD Newbie Rush. I'll see you in the next video.